Brooklyn was going crazy tonight. Really terrible first half. First half and then half of the third quarter. I think Brooklyn hit it seemed to be 90% of their threes. They were chucking up. They were going down. But OKC was able to, just keep it going, stay consistent, and end up taking the lead in the fourth and finish.
You want to tell them? You want to tell them how many threes the Nets attempted?
Yeah. So, like I was saying before, the most amount of threes attempted in an NBA game ever is 70 by the Houston Rockets, led by James Harden. Ironically, against Brooklyn tonight, Brooklyn shot 61 3-point attempts. And I don't have it up in front of me, but they made a whole lot of them. So that's what really kept them in the game tonight.
Yeah, Brooklyn as a team, they kind of live and die by the three. If their threes aren't hitting, you can expect them to get beat by about 30 points. But if the threes are falling for them, they're a tough team to play. And the Thunder kind of got the short end of the stick tonight, and we had to dig ourselves out of a hole. But thankfully in the fourth quarter, our experience showed, and we got the job done in Brooklyn.
Yeah, so a big thing I really wanted to bring up tonight was the amount of time Aaron Wiggins got on the floor. In the first half, he was really kind of carrying us, but he wasn't consistently staying on the court. Mark kept pulling him out. I mean, the dude had, let me check my stats here. Through 17 minutes, he had 20 points. But then, thankfully, I think Mark's been listening to me complain pretty much. Wiggins played the whole fourth quarter besides the last 30 seconds. And that was really nice to see. I really liked the closing line tonight of Shai, Wiggins, Caruso. I think it was who was the fourth? Maybe it was Kaysen and Chet.
Yeah.
Really liked that closing line. Kaysen balled out in the fourth quarter, big steals. And it was really nice to see. Oh, actually, I'm talking. Kaysen wasn't in it. It was Dub. I
want to touch on Dort. Normally, he's kind of the producer that still is going to give you offensive production, even when the Thunder are losing by 20 points. But tonight, we just kind of didn't have that spark from him. Mark Daigneault realized that, and we saw a decrease in Dort minutes in this. We really saw a decrease in Dort minutes in the second half.
But here's the thing. That's an okay thing because it wasn't the best matchup for Dort tonight. So I really like seeing Mark change it up, throw Wiggins in there, who absolutely balled out tonight, and throw Kaysen. Kaysen was playing great tonight too. He had 13 points off the bench. Aaron Wiggins, 24 points off the bench in 29 minutes, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, over 50% shooting like always, a plus 26. Plus 26, him and Caruso. Caruso's plus 27.
Yeah,
outstanding lineup adjustments tonight by Mark.
I mean, and that's not to knock Dort. Sometimes you just have to make decisions in the best interest for the team. And tonight, the decision that was for the best interest of the team was giving Wiggins more minutes and giving less minutes to Dort.
It was also sitting Hartenstein a bit. I mean, Hartenstein only played 24 minutes, minus 22 tonight. It wasn't his matchup either. But like I said last night, if Mark wasn't going to make the adjustments, we would have lost again tonight. But tonight, he made the necessary adjustments, put egos aside, and OKC hit their stride easily.
Yeah, in that second quarter, we cut it down to about 2 or 3 points. We cut our deficit down to about 2 or 3 points midway through the second quarter. Then Daigneault circled back and went back to the double big lineup, and I think we went down by about 16, 17 points again, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Another thing about that double big lineup is, I mean, this is now, I don't have the amount of games up in front of my face, but this is an amount of games that we've seen. It's just not going to work out against most teams. The starting slow consistently.
Well, it doesn't really
trend. We go down big early in games consistently here. So, or we just start slow offensively. So, I mean, you're not going to be able to do this against good teams. We've seen it. So we're lucky we play in Brooklyn tonight. But
it doesn't help that Claxton was suspended and their big was Day'Ron Sharpe, I think is how you say his name. He's not really He's not really a true 5.
Dayron balled out on us tonight, though.
Yeah, he did hoop though. He was getting buckets.
I was going crazy on my live stream, to be honest. Like, I was like roasting him the whole game. I was like, dude, who is this guy? Why are we always getting like just burned by randoms? It feels like
yeah. Well,
he was on the scouting report. So
yeah, Dayron's actually a pretty decent player, but 25, 15, and 5 is unacceptable. The main problem I had tonight was Killian Hayes. 19.7 assists, five threes is
a lot more unacceptable.
Yeah, it's not great.
We have 3 of the best point of attack defenders in Caruso, Wallace, and Dort. Covering Killian Hayes should not be a problem.
Yeah, one of the things I do want to point out real quick was Shai's lack of effort on the defensive end throughout the game. Like, usually, he's probably pretty decent, but he had a lot of lapses, and that kind of brings me back to like maybe 2 years ago when he used to do that a lot as well, where he would have lapses in games of defensive just not moving to the right spots or not being in the right spot. And I saw a lot of that this game. I feel like one of the criticisms that I had throughout the whole game was we should be sharp coming out of All-Star break, right? Like, we're all healthy. These guys are professional athletes. Like, they should be locked in, focused. And I think that's the main thing is we're just not focused enough on the defensive end, and there's not the same level of effort because we have all the guys back. With Chet, we're like statistically we're playing better defense, but when you do an eye test view of it, it's just lazier defense. We're just not playing the same level.
You're 100% right. It is the lazy part. It's not who's on the court. We've been pretty lazy on defense. I think. They got a little comfortable with their lead in the West, but I think they're going to wake up after tonight, especially after letting Brooklyn have 121 points. That's a little insane.
I have an Instagram comment to bring up here from B-Boy Sykes. He says, I don't think we're falling off much. I just think teams are starting to respect us a bit more. They're playing their best ball when we're not trying to overcompensate or keep the foot on the gas 100%. I don't disagree with you. I mean, teams are going to play we're the number 1 seed in the West. That's a given that teams are going to play their best basketball.
Yeah.
So that's no excuse for us to play down to them.
Yeah, there's a vendetta out for OKC right now. Everybody wants a piece of them, and they're going to play their best game against us, and we're just going to have to be ready. I mean, they've been on cruise control this whole regular season. They got punched in the mouth the other night by Minnesota, and they got punched in the mouth in this first half, and it kind of seemed like not only did the team wake up offensively, but I think our coach woke up, and I was very happy to see. Don't get me wrong, like an 8-point win against Brooklyn isn't great, but the way Mark coached that second half was outstanding. He made the necessary adjustments, and listen, he sat Lou, and that's a starter, but that's a good thing. When it's not his night, sit him. He sat Shai for a while. He let that line run who was going on that third and early fourth quarter run of Wiggins, Dub, and Chet. I think he put Shai back in the game with like 4 minutes left when they started getting a little bit closer.
We were already up by 12 by that point, and that was kind of what I was mentioning about Shai. He just didn't seem like fully locked in on the game throughout the whole game. Like, it was just too relaxed. Even when he came into the fourth, he was smiling. Like, I don't want to see that from the superstar. I need him to, have the killer mentality that he's had most of the season. And it just seems like he's getting comfortable, and that spreads to the rest of the team. Like,
right.
I don't know what kind of wake up call if the last game wasn't enough and this game isn't enough. And like, of course, Mark is locked in, but Mark can only do so much when your star player or other players start showing signs of, not putting the full focus and energy and effort that it requires to beat teams that are putting on full-on scouting reports, playing the correct zone. They're playing, a box defense against Shai most of the game, and then they're also transitioning between zones, like soft zones, as well. So it's like
which means our guys who aren't necessarily labeled as 3-point shooters have to make the open ones, which is I don't want anyone catching strays here, but Dort, Caruso.
Listen, it's a bit of a middle of the season slump from some players, but it was very nice to see them go to other guys tonight and pull out the win. This is what we should be doing, or what Mark should be doing consistently. Again, I don't want to keep talking about it, but I was super happy seeing it. I've been begging Mark for Aaron Wiggins minutes, and what he does tonight is just play excellent basketball all game long. He kept us alive and then finished the game off. I see a comment on YouTube, Westbrook Theory 2.0. Yep, we've been slacking on the defense lately. Yeah, it really is more of just slacking and laziness than actually just getting beat. Hopefully they pick that up. But yeah, I think towards the home stretch here of the regular season, they're going to start picking up the intensity again. It's hard to do an 82-game season, especially when you're winning every game by 20 points. You take your foot off the gas, and so did the coach a few games, and hopefully they get that back. But yeah, we have another one on Instagram. Cason Wallace, Ethan. Cason Wallace earned those 30 minutes tonight. His defensive performance was great. Why did Joe only get 12 minutes? I'll start with the Cason Wallace. Absolutely earned those 30 minutes tonight, especially in the fourth quarter. Just was locking everybody up, creating fast break opportunity. I'd like to see better shooting, but absolutely earned those minutes. Why did Joe only get 12 minutes? Because kind of what you just said. Cason was excellent tonight. Aaron Wiggins was excellent tonight. Joe wasn't playing too great. He wasn't shooting the ball great. So Mark, what he did was, listen, it wasn't
you can only
slide him out, put someone in who's playing better.
You can only play 5 guys on the court at a time, and when Wiggins is balling out, and then Shai, Chet, J-Dub, and Hartenstein are almost guaranteed to get minutes, no matter how they're playing. But if they're playing half decent, they're going to get minutes. So it really just, it's just he can only have so many guys on the court at one time, and Joe just happened to get the short end of that tonight.
But that's completely okay. Okay. What we got? B-Boy Skies on Instagram. We shouldn't still be experimenting lineups/matchups. Start running playoff ball while we still have 20 games to burn, Game 7 scenarios. I absolutely agree. And I think that's what we showed tonight. It wasn't much of an experiment. It was, okay, these guys weren't playing good. Let's put in the guys who were playing great. And it worked. It was awesome. I think you're 100% right. We've been touching on that a few episodes in a row now where Mark's been in this experimental kind of state, and tonight he wasn't, which was great.
Yeah, I understand being slightly experimental because we're just getting Chet back, but eventually, after All-Star break, this period is kind of known for being the time when teams start ramping it up and fighting for playoff positioning. So it'd be good if he can kind of figure out which direction he wants to go with the rotation in a short sample of games and then stick with it.
Yeah, I think he'll still be pretty experimental, and maybe until like the last 10, 15 games, going right into the playoffs. I think that's when we're really going to be playing.
Hopefully we're resting by then, ideally.
Yeah, we'll be resting, but I think he'll be playing a more concrete lineup. To also answer that question about like why Joe's not getting the minutes, for the most of the season, he hasn't had the best, performance, as a 3-point shooter. So he's kind of a guy that we kind of play in spot minutes. And that's kind of what I'll see him playing probably in the playoffs as well. Like unless he's really hot, like he's not probably cracking 20 minutes per game because we have to play Cason, Caruso, Wiggins, J-Dub, Shai, and he's not getting more minutes than them. And we just have a crazy deep point guard role. Even Lou Dort's in that mix. That's a lot of guys.
Yeah. So with Isaiah, it's pretty much matchup based. Like if teams are going to play zone against us, then we're throwing him in. Then you have to throw him in. And if he's extremely hot, then you have to keep him in. But if he's not playing well, he's a great player for us when he's playing well. But when he's not, there's not much value there. So we have way too many people that we can just plug in, and if they're playing better, just throw them in the game and keep them in the game.
It's snappy passes, offset the defense, and get the ball to the corner and make threes. That's how you beat the zone that's been getting thrown at us.
Yeah.
And then I want to respond to Bring the Thunder legend Gabe Ploger's comment on Instagram. He said, how important would you guys say Chet's performance was outside of just his impressive numbers? I would say it's huge because he's just coming off an injury, And I mean, I noticed like he's getting tired. He's getting gassed. He's playing his hardest, but like him playing his hardest right now is not what him playing his hardest in the playoffs will be. And to see him putting up his stats just like 1 or 2 weeks off of, or like 2 weeks off of that injury is crazy, because like the ceiling for him is so high. Like I don't think people understand how dominant of a player Chet can be in this league with his archetype. I mean, the guy's just a unicorn. 7'1", can pass, rebound, shoot on all three levels, and on top of that is one of the best rim protectors in the league. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, Gabe, great question. Chet's performance goes way beyond the numbers. His impact is you don't see it in the box score sometimes. He contests every shot in the paint that goes up, no matter if he fouls or if he actually gets the block. It's consistently, there's going to be a contest in the paint every time you go and try Chet Holmgren. You saw him he tries to block everything. He's not scared of Ant Edwards going to dunk on him. Yeah, he got dunked on, but he's going to be there, and he's going to do it again. He's going to do it again after that. So having him, especially on the defensive side, I mean, is just such a luxury for this team. And then offensively, yeah, the dude, he can hit threes, he can catch lobs, he has a little bit of a post game. He'll be working on it more. I mean, he's just an excellent player. Carson 4211 on Instagram. 3-point shooting is going to be the downfall for this team come playoff time. Not if they have the right players in. They have the right players, and this team can knock down shots. Shai can hit threes.
I want to chime in on that comment. I think it's not going to be a downfall the same way it was last season, because we just didn't have the personnel to put in for that supplemental three-point shooting that we needed. This time around, we have plenty of guys that like we can just rotate through that. If one guy's not making it, we got the next guy off the bench. So
exactly,
we'll be fine this time around.
Yeah, I was just going to list a few. Like we didn't have Caruso last year. I trust him to shoot threes in the postseason.
I can see a lot of guys in the playoffs ramping it up and getting hot and making threes that you typically wouldn't see them make in the regular season, just because of the crowd conditions and the heat of the moment in the playoffs.
Right. And I don't think you guys understand the leap that a lot of these guys have taken this year. Chet being one. His 3-point shot looks awesome since coming back from injury. Aaron Wiggins, I mean, absolute baller. I love the guy. I really hope he can slide into the starting lineup at some point, because we're seeing that this double big isn't working, which is okay, which is completely okay. Just
I love it, because now
at 2 different times.
Now it's you give Wiggins 2 feet or 2 feet of space, it's a guaranteed shot going up in the air. And I love that level of confidence from him.
His confidence is outstanding. It's through the roof right now. I mean, he'll pump fake, go right to the rim. He'll take anybody to the rim. He has an open shot from deep, he'll shoot it. He has a mid-range shot open, he's shooting it. I mean, that's a guy that needs to be in the game often. And I think it really clicked for Mark tonight, playing him literally the whole fourth quarter, besides 30 seconds or a minute. So
he's the shot creator that we kind of needed while AJ's kind of, coming back into the game.
Great name mentioned, by the way.
Yeah. Also, I want to get some stats out here for us midway through the live. So Thunder improved to 47-11. We had an 18-point comeback tonight. We're 20-1 against the Eastern Conference. We're 21-7 against road matchups. We had 4
By the way, sorry to interrupt. I'm pretty sure the 18-point comeback was our second biggest comeback of the season.
Yeah, it was. And then we had 4 players that scored 22-plus points. Our next matchup, of course, is Hawks in Atlanta on Friday. The 4 players that had the 22-plus points was Shai with 27, Wiggins with 24, J-Dub and Chet both had 22. Dub scored 13 points in the fourth quarter. This is the type of Dub performance that we need going throughout the game. Like, this is something that he did regularly last year, and we just need him in the fourth quarters. Like, he needs to be that second.
We've seen glimpses of it this year. It just hasn't been a consistent thing.
Yeah, we need it more consistent going, on this later part of the run. Chet also scored a career high, or rebounded a career high 17 rebounds. He's playing like an all-star, and he's only at 80.
Career high. Didn't realize that.
Yeah, that was a career high right there. We had a 12-point lead going into the fourth quarter, or in 4 minutes to go, And that was after being down 18 and barely having Shane for that stretch that we came back. The other big stat that I wanted to give out real quick before I hand over the reins back to you guys is Shai drives an NBA high 20.7 times per game. He hits 57% of his drive field goals, like in terms of efficiency, and he attempts 5.2 drives. And Anthony Edwards drives 14.5 times per game, and he hits only 46% of his field goals attempted. And on his field goals attempted, he's once every 4.4 drives, which is like the highest ratio of anyone that's top 10 in drives. So he's driving less, getting more fouls generated than Shai is, who's driving way more than him.
Right.
So the whole free throw merchant, commentary, like, yeah.
That's beyond. Big shout out to Garrett Thunder for Haviland for that, because he sent that to me earlier. So thanks, Garrett. Appreciate that.
And then we have a question from, sorry if I butcher your username Wertzy. They said, wow, big win against the Nets tonight. Can they get 2 in a row against the Hawks too? I think we're going to come into the Hawks game firing, because this game should be a confidence booster for us. And this game released a lot of weight off our shoulders, because we needed this win. If we lost this game, we would be catching a lot of backlash. And that's tough. That's tough for the a team that's the youngest team in the NBA.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, was NBA Twitter kind of making the troll comments, and it's just really hard on the guys. Like, I wish everyone would kind of ease up. Look at the record. We're 47-11. Like, let's just take a breath. One loss is not the end of the world. I need everyone to kind of, the younger audience to kind of understand that. Like, we don't need to roast our guys after every matchup, or, we have some historic loss like the one we had last night. Like, stuff like that rarely happens. If you think about the 11 losses that we have, the way we lose them is the other team has to play like out of their minds. Like, we had that Fred VanVleet crazy shot that he hit against us in that Rockets matchup. Like, most of the losses that come to my mind, maybe except for like 2 of them, the other team had to do crazy stuff.
They had to play their best basketball. I mean, even tonight, like I said earlier, Brooklyn was sniping. I mean, they finished at 38% from 3, but early on in the game, I mean, I could count up to 10 shots, maybe 10 threes a row that they made. Like, they finished with 23 3-point field goals made. I don't have the stat, but I'm being honest, I think they made more than half of them in the first half. Like, they were sniping, and we just stuck it out, which is good to see. You mentioned Jalen Williams, Dub. Outstanding fourth quarter. I mean, really, with that line, I mean, was super aggressive getting to the free throw line, which we need from him. Super aggressive getting to the cup. Even when the jumpers aren't falling, that's what he has to do. I actually was writing down notes. Originally, I said, where's Jalen Williams? And then he appeared in the fourth quarter because he wasn't having such a great game. But I did see an Instagram comment. I lost it. But somebody said that they want to keep the Hartenstein-Chet lineup in and keep trying it out. I actually wrote down something earlier today. When we had both of them in, we went down 18 points, then we came back, and then we put both of them in again, and we went back down 14 points. It's a clear difference in defense and offense for this team, and it just can't happen anymore. I don't know why everyone's holding on to it so much anyway. It's not like they're not going to play, and it's not like we need them to be starters. Like, it ruins the offense. You don't need 2 big men in it. It's not a good thing, especially when one can't shoot and the one who can shoot is on the outside and can also play absolute dominance on the inside. So you're forcing him outside. Like, it doesn't have to be
chime in on that too. I want to chime in on that is we don't need to like have them as 2 starting guys. The thing that I wish we would do is kind of start them in the situations that we need them. If the other team is playing like power forward type guys like Daron Sharp or a Naz Reid, Chet should be playing the 5. We don't need a double big lineup in that situation. We need more spacing for Shai to get to the basket so we can kick out the shooters. We need more shooters on the court when we're playing just power forwards or small ball lineups. That's just the main observation. Like, teams, we don't need Chet out on the perimeter guarding the other 4-man. Like, I don't want to see him out there. And no offense to Chet, like he's just way more useful, on inside the paint. So
yeah, and it's not like even if one doesn't start, they're both running 2 different lines. Like they'll both have their own line of 5 guys, and they'll be the focal center. So,
and I feel like
I
feel like when Chet signed the contract papers, he had a team first mindset. He wants to win a ring, and he wants to do whatever it takes for this team to win one. And if that means coming off the bench,
Hartenstein,
yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd I say?
Chet. You said Chet.
I meant Hartenstein. My bad. But yeah, I think he has a team first mindset. And even if he's coming off the bench, he's still probably going to get around 30 minutes a game. That's a good sum of minutes. It's not like he's going to be getting 10 minutes. He's still going to have elite levels of production.
Yeah, he can easily get like 22 to 25 minutes per game, even if they're rotating between both the centers, in whichever lineups that they're in. If like mainly Hartenstein's with the second unit, he's still getting 20 plus minutes. It's not like he's getting bench level minutes or bench level production or anything from him. So I feel like he's even more efficient when he's sub 25 minutes from all the stats that I was looking up the other day. Like he's just way more an efficient player when you're not overplaying him, because one thing he does do is he gets in foul troubles at time, and I'd rather have him in for situations where it's like, okay, we need the double big in this situation. And if he's in foul trouble early, if he's starting out and he's in foul trouble, that kind of defeats the purpose of having both those guys.
Right. That's an excellent point. And then another thing with that is, I kind of lost my train of thought. I was gonna bring something up. Oh, you could see the difference. Both of the bigs played better alone too.
Yeah.
So, they optimized the guys, put them on 2 different lines. The team will be through the roof, and I don't think anyone can beat that. It's just if Mark wants to, see who he wants to start. Hopefully it's Wiggins and sliding Hartenstein to the bench, which, again, guys, he'll get the same amount of minutes as he does a starter, maybe missing 4 because it's replaced by Chet Holmgren, which is explanatory. But, I'm super interested to see after tonight if he runs with a Wiggins at 2 in Atlanta and Hartenstein off the bench. Because I promise you guys, right when that happens, this team's gonna really take off.
Is there center Capella right now?
No, the center for the Hawks is
it's a Chino Hills guy. I can't pronounce his name, but he played with Lamelo Ball.
It's Onyeka Okongwu.
Yeah. Okay, we shouldn't straight up. I'm gonna be straight up.
That's a power forward level guy. We don't need 2 centers for that lineup.
Exactly.
I promise. And your 4-man is like just a wing, so we don't need.
I'm almost 80% sure we're still gonna experiment with it to start off the game. But,
yeah, I agree.
And I'm almost 80% sure we'll be down by 10 points to start off the game.
Yeah,
just part of it.
But that's really it tonight. Great win. It should. We were all hoping for a much easier win, but sometimes teams. This is the NBA. Sometimes teams knock down every single shot that they're given. But other than that, OKC really, really good bounce back win. Great production off the bench. Great production from everybody. Sapphire mentioned earlier, 4 guys, 20 plus. Can you ask for more than that? I can. That's outstanding. And
thank you guys. Thank you guys for all the amazing questions you guys left us. And if you liked our recap, go ahead and subscribe to the Bring the Thunder podcast on YouTube so you can tune in more often, and we can continue to answer your amazing questions.
Yeah, I love interacting now that we're going live pretty regularly. And I think something we can start doing if we start getting a good amount of people live on post games is during the games, be live with you guys and react with you guys. And I think that's kind of where we're heading in that direction. So as we get more engagement with you guys, we'd love to, host some live show recaps as well.
Oh, yeah. But, if you guys are all set there, we could sign off here.
Yeah, man.
Perfect.
All right, guys. So everyone who was here live and everybody who's going to be watching after, we really appreciate you. Like Landon said, if you like what you're listening to and want to come interact with us, please subscribe. And other than that, great win tonight and Thunder up, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.